Hey everybody, let's talk quickly about Module 7. The focus of Module 7 is Chapter 4, which is on curriculum development for students with autism. So here our focus will be on big picture curriculum development, as well as this is the point where we're going to talk a bit more about academics than other things. So let's get started. I'm still working on this module, so you might see some things here in this video that you won't see later, but I just wanted to give a quick introduction. Make sure you go through each page of the module, of course. Again, our focus is on deciding what to teach and key things to think about as you start planning educational programs for students. Keep in mind that what and how a student is taught will affect their long-term life choices. So this is a big responsibility starting from the beginning stages of life and educational career. So that's why we push so much for inclusion as early as possible and early intervention as early as possible, because if you start waiting, then actually the gap between what the students know or are able to do as compared to their typical peers grows exponentially. So there is a sense of urgency and very much a sense of importance on making these educational decisions and choices early on in students' lives. Make sure that families know the wide variety of choices for the future. Please don't be that teacher that limits your students. Always, always, always presume competence for students, because those choices that we make as far as putting them always in self-contained and never out with their peers, that deeply affects their futures. So keep that in mind. And sometimes the type of program you provide and supports you provide will either prevent or support the development of some type of inappropriate behavior. So keep that in mind as well. Decisions about curriculum should come before decisions about placement. So do not design a curriculum based on placement. You design the curriculum that suits that child, and then you figure out what placement should look like. A team of experts on the child should be the people deciding and designing that curriculum. So a stranger should not be doing that. You really need to know the child well enough to know the real strengths, interests, preferences of that child. And we definitely know standard academic curriculum may not be the best format for our students with ASD. The standard academic curriculum, in my opinion, is not the best format for most people. And is something that we should sort of rethink in general. But you definitely need to be considering a multitude of factors as you are designing educational curriculum for students with autism in particular. As you're considering that, be thinking broadly. Think about age appropriateness of a curriculum, the longitudinal goals of the student and his or her family, how you can integrate across different content areas. And then because we are working at getting students to be fully part of the community, then everything along the way should have a functional tie and help them be thinking about how this helps them interact with the community more effectively. So that's the big focus of the chapter reading and this module in general. The main foci of your week is, of course, to read chapter 4 of the text. If you've read it before, that's okay. I want you to go back into it again with fresh eyes, review it. There will be a study guide to go through because there will be a quiz on this chapter. So you want to make sure you go through the chapter pretty thoroughly. And the assignment for this week that you will submit this week is to complete an ecological inventory and a level of competency for your case study student. So if you are working with a partner on that, then work together on that. So you will submit one assignment between the two of you But you need to make sure that both of your names are on the document you submit. That's really important. I don't need you to submit the same document in 2 places, but I do need to make sure you have both of your names on the one, so I don't accidentally mark the other one as not having done it. And I wouldn't do that intentionally, of course, but it's just a little helpful reminder for me. Plus, your name should be on everything you submit into a Dropbox, just so you know. Just like having your students in class write their names on the top of anything they turn in. I know that your Dropboxes are assigned to your name, but it's definitely just a better practice to put your name on whatever you submit. Okay, so you're going to do an ecological inventory and the level of competency. Those are both within your textbook, and that's what I'm sort of finding for you here. Table 4.5 goes through ecological inventory steps. Table 4.6 has some different sample questions you could ask yourself while you're doing that inventory. And then I will upload some forms for that. And then page 113 starts talking about levels of competency. And here's where you're really going to be thinking about where is my student in these different levels within each environment, even when you're talking about that. So I will go more into detail on those particular assignment parts in the assignment instruction page, but that's just kind of a preview of what you will need to submit for this week. And that should align with your case study student. It should help you build your final case study product. So that you can use that as part of your observation time and all of that fun stuff, okay? All right, so then the other thing you should continue to work on is your group FBA project. You're not submitting anything necessarily to me, but you should be continuing the next week in that process. And then when you are finished with all of that, you can go ahead and proceed to the next learning module. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.